Happy Thursday, Striver. I hope today you woke up with such a positive attitude. And if you didn't wake up with one, I hope that maybe today you'll just choose one. You'll just choose it. What a blessing it is. We get to choose our breath and choose our attitude, choose our focus, choose our next right actions of integrity. Oh, that's the stuff of personal development foundations. You know, like many of you, I read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl at a very important time in my life. And I just remember being so frankly, in awe of this man's humanity and his wisdom and his strength and his courage. And as many of you know, he'd gone through the Holocaust and witnessed the most unbearable, impossible terror imaginable. And he wrote in the book that the last of humans' freedoms are the ability to choose one's own attitude. I think I read that at 18, 19 years old, and I could not believe it. I thought, wow, if in those circumstances someone could find a way to direct their own thoughts and their own mind so that they still have that freedom, despite everything else going on around them, then I'm going to learn to do that for myself too, because I have nothing to complain about. And it still shapes me this day. And I just feel like part of the fundamental things we all have to do is to control our thoughts, our feelings, our attitudes. Yes, we can't be perfect. And that's not what this is about. This is not about toxic positivity. This is about, hey, what a blessing that we can teach ourselves to better manage our own minds. And today, I hope you'll do that. I'm pretty optimistic, pretty excited, in a great attitude today that I'd love to share a concept in personal development with you, another one that you might really enjoy. Many of you are with us as we ran the Influencer Summit this year. We just finished day 3 yesterday. So I've been working, 14-hour days on this, and something I really believe made a difference in how that went and how I feel about it. And I'd love to share it with you. Whether or not you're interested in that topic doesn't matter. I promise this is a personal growth takeaway you'll love. This is the month, as you know, here in Growth Day, where we're talking about creating meaning and fulfillment. If you're a pro member, you'll note that all of our coaches this month are going through and sharing how they've created meaning and fulfillment in their own lives and what they've learned about that topic through their research, through their own life, through their practice in helping other clients improve their lives. Really powerful stuff. And if you're not a pro member, please upgrade, because this month alone could change your life forever. And so let me share something that just happened last couple of days related to meaning and fulfillment. As I was doing Influencer Summit, I chose this year to quarterback most of it. And what I mean by that is I chose to do a lot of the summit by myself in coordination with my team and partners, but really did a lot of the work. And let me share with you why I'm saying that to you now. Years ago, I wrote this book called The Charge, Activating the 10 Human Drives That Make You Feel Alive. And I studied neuroscience for several years to try and learn how to write that book and learn how to accurately understand the human brain. And one of the things I came across was this concept that I later just called, controlling the end-to-end contribution. What they found was people who had more control of the start, the middle, and the end of any given project or initiative or to-do felt more fulfilled and happy and engaged over the short term and the long term when they did that. That end-to-end contribution, the ability to be part of something at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and being able to celebrate it, adds to our fulfillment in life. And so many of us, as we become more successful, we hand off everything. We delegate everything. We're actually managing little pieces of things, but never getting to experience the thing. And so for me, once in a while, I choose to quarterback a promotion or be part of something in a significant way because it just makes me feel alive, fulfilled, joyous. And it's not always easy, but it does, it matters. It makes a difference. I'll give you a couple more examples and I'll return to how I experienced Influencer Summit this year. Another example is I was talking with a CEO friend recently on Zoom, and he went and got this painting he had done. He came, he brought it really close to the camera, and he's just showing me that he was so excited. Look at this picture. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? I hadn't seen him that excited in, I don't know, years. And I asked him about it, and he just said, you know what? It just felt good to get my hands in the paint and start something and finish something by myself again. I said, oh yeah. I thought of a friend of mine who she owns a restaurant, and she was telling me how sometimes she kicks out all of the other chefs and assistants and sous chef type people. I'm sorry, I don't know what you call the people in the kitchen. But she said she kicked everybody out very often, several times a week, just to create the next 2 or 3 dishes for her customers without anyone else touching it. Just to remind her of what it feels like to make a full meal, because, you know, in restaurants, especially of her size, it can kind of be like assembly line production. But she wanted to do every piece of it. And it's interesting how sometimes by taking ownership of a full process, we can feel alive again. We can feel that sense of completion and fulfillment that we all deserve. But again, as we get more successful, or as you have more team, or as you're part of larger organizations, sometimes you lose that. And you've got to take control and say, no, hey, you know what? I like this process, or I'd like to try this process. I'd like to take it from beginning to end. There's a lot of research in what is often called people development, and that's just the world of human resources and what keeps people happy at work. There's a lot of study on engagement. And a lot of managers actually end up leaving jobs saying that they're unhappy with their jobs. And the reality was they weren't unhappy with the job. It was just that the tasks that they were doing were always parts of something, and they never felt like they were actually contributing anymore because they never actually owned anything and had the opportunity to see it from beginning to end. They were always bit players in a larger play and never got to be the main director of it all, or actor in the play, if that makes sense. And so with Influencer Summit, you guys, I know, saw a lot of me if you were part of it. It was live 4 hours a day for 3 days straight. I tended to bring on 3 speakers. So in 4 hours, I had 3 speakers, and then I'd often do a bonus training before or after. So it was usually 5 or 6 hours live in some way or another. And so I know you saw a lot of me. Now, here's the deal with Influencer Summit. Obviously, I have team involved in that. My team is on the other side. Many of my team members, anyway, are on the other side, helping make sure the Zoom rooms are run. People are getting into the room. That they're managing, especially chat and comments, because there's so many of them. Oh my gosh! And they're all across social media. So my social media team's out there. We've got our customer service going crazy and both helping with the Zooms and also responding to a billion emails that I send out for Influencer Summit. But can I tell you a little about my experience and why I'm in a great mood today, even though I'm exhausted? Because I decided that this year we had so many things going on already that I would, more or less try to quarterback this whole summit this year so that, one, my team can stay focused on GrowthDay, but 2, that I could really manage that process. If I thought, gosh, if I'm going to have to do this during the holidays, then I really want to enjoy it. So I thought of everything, and I thought, well, I'll just run it this year. And when I say run it, I know not all of you are marketers, but just to give you an idea of what that looks like. So first you have to build the marketing web pages and website, right, for the summit so that people can come and register. So you got to build the opt-in page, and then the confirmation page, and then the VIP sign up, and then the emails that everyone gets from that to be reminded to actually show up for the summit. Well, I did all the pages and all the emails. And then I thought, well, as we went throughout the summit, Well, let's take another step back. I also messaged and coordinated and called and talked and prepared all of the speakers by myself. No other scheduling assistant, no other people coordinating with them, just myself, like a crazy guy. Oh my gosh. But you know what? End-to-end ownership, guess what? When you think of end-to-end contribution, for me, one thing that makes me feel fulfilled in end-to-end contribution is relationships. The people who are coming on this thing, a lot of them are friends. And I wanted to, I was like, oh, instead of outsourcing talking with them or, scheduling with them, I'll do it myself. I like them. That brings me joy in part of this process. I don't need to do that, but gosh, that brings me joy, so I will. I also love writing. I'm a writer, right? So I decided to write all the emails for this. Now, as you imagine, our audience is quite large. I have to segment. There's 13 different segments in my business, 13 major segments. So I have to write an email for each of those 13 segments. And I have to send the email reminder that we're about to start. And then I have to send the email after we've gone live with the replay. Well, that's 13 different segments, 2 emails a day. That's 26 emails a day, marketing emails, 26 marketing emails a day. And remember, I'm also live for 4 or 5 hours. So I'm live 4 or 5 hours, and I got to send all 26 emails to 13 different segments, and that takes 4 or 5 hours by itself just to set up. So now we're over 8, 9 hours a day. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I also, because where I'm at right now, I got to produce the whole thing, meaning I've got to do the camera plugged into the laptops with the lighting and the boom mics and the sound walls and everything to make sure that we can pull this thing off for 4 or 5 hours a day. Oh yeah, I got to communicate with the VIPs and get them a membership site. And oh yeah, I got to build this other community site. And I got to send out all the SMS. And oh, forgot, there's a sponsor, Kajabi. I've got to coordinate with all the teams over there in order to pull this thing off. That's what I did this week. And notice, I'm not complaining about it. I'm not here to say, oh, wow, look at me. Because listen, owning end-to-end contribution, it's not about, trying to control it because you're a control freak. It's about saying, what do you enjoy? What processes could you maybe take a little bit more of control of, the beginning to end, to feel like you're contributing and you feel fulfilled? Like I said, my team did tons of work on this, especially customer service guys. If you guys are listening, oh, man, I friggin' love you. I friggin' love you. Because remember, someone's got to, when people reply to all those emails, someone's got to talk to them. All those DMs and social media and opening up the Zoom rooms and getting everybody in and out and taking care of everybody. Man, my team takes care of you guys way more than you'll ever know. But it's just, I share all those tasks that I did because I know some people say, well, that's crazy. You're still doing that. You don't need to. I know I don't need to. I like it, guys. You've got to find in your own company, in your own family, in your own career, what are the things that once in a while you're just going to quarterback just because it gives you skill, it brings you flow, it activates your creativity, it makes you sense like you're owning that process in a way where you're flexed, you're in flow, you're developing mastery, or you are getting to make the contribution in a unique way that's important to you. None of those things would I advise everybody to do. I certainly wouldn't tell people, hey, go and try to do a whole marketing effort like that, in that way. I wouldn't advise people to work 14, 15 hours a day for that many days to pull off something like that. But for me, it was kind of like my Super Bowl. It was like, oh, I think I can pull this off. I think I'd enjoy pulling this off. I know it'd help a lot of people at the right time of the year. I'd like to do this free for people. And if we're going to do it free for people, it's best that I go and run that as much as I can on my own and let my team focus on the major needle movers in GrowthDay, and I'll go run this thing over here. And so I think it's important to hear all these examples. Maybe sometimes you just got to paint the painting from beginning to end. Maybe sometimes you just got to cook the meal from beginning to end that you enjoy. Sometimes you got to do the art, the project, the process, the initiative, And you just got to own it. Own it. Don't delegate it. Don't be a bit player in it. Don't just touch a piece of it. Say, how can I be responsible for something? How can I see that process from the very beginning to the very end just because? I was working with a customer recently, and they own a big company, and they were sharing about this role they have of a person who's in charge of the life cycle of all customers. That's when the first sort of touch point they have with the brand, all the way till after they've bought it, all the way through lifetime value, all the way their entire time. And that person's in charge of just thinking through all of that stuff. And I asked, oh, wow, that's a lot. Is that person happy there? That's sure a lot to do. Oh my gosh, she's the happiest because she really gets to think about everything end to end. It's kind of like, have you ever made, when you were a kid or now, have you ever done a puzzle? You know, you open up the box, you pour out all the puzzle pieces. You know, it's really fun to make a puzzle with your family or other people. And very few people, though, have ever just made the puzzle by themselves. There's a different level of achievement or accomplishment in both of them. Notice I didn't say a better one or a worse one. I said different. It's different when you make a puzzle with the whole team and everybody's putting something in. And yet it's different when you make the puzzle yourself. That's what I'm talking about today. End-to-end ownership. Not everything in your life. Please don't do everything in your life. You'll freak out. Trust me, my team and all of my companies do tons and tons of things without me. I've got tons of owners and people who are responsible and leads and everything, making everything happen. So this is, again, it's not about chest thumping. It's about saying to yourself, what do I enjoy? Let me set myself up to get to do that process. Maybe there's a few things this year you got away from doing that you really enjoyed. You delegated it, or you stopped doing it because it wasn't bringing you enough fulfillment because you didn't really get your hands dirty. You weren't in it enough to complete that puzzle and be done with it and go, hey, I like this thing I made. I made this thing from beginning to end. I think as a human species, we're losing a lot of that because we're all digital nomads and we're all doing stuff online, and few people anymore go out and, carve something or make a statue by themselves from beginning to end. Very few people are working with their hands as much as they used to, at least as they used to. And so when you get to do that, you feel good about it. I remember my dad, one of his hobbies was making bird boxes. He just loved to do it. He'd go find the wood somewhere. He'd saw it. He'd hammer it. He'd put it together. He'd go hang it on the tree. And after he was done, man, it was time for that peanut butter and jelly sandwich and and his Coca-Cola. And he would just enjoy life. I know it sounds silly. I'm just here to tell you, this holiday season, is there something you could find to do again on your own, end to end, to feel that flow, that contribution, and that celebration? If you enjoyed this episode, maybe you'll open up your journal and just write out about, capture, what are all the processes you're involved in your life or your career? Is there any of them you could take a little bit more control of that would bring you joy? Not control to be a control freak, but control of the end-to-end process of some way to have more contribution in it, more sense of fulfillment in it. Also, hey, it's the holidays. So you can go to growthday.com/gift. growthday.com/gift, and you can give an annual subscription to somebody in your life for Growth Day next year. Hey, let me just put this in perspective. You're going to go buy a gadget to somebody. You're going to buy a sweatshirt for somebody, a pair of shoes for somebody. You're going to buy a tie for somebody. You're going to buy something for somebody, and I'm all encouraging of that. But guess what? You can buy a starter plan in Growth Day for someone for $37.99 a year. So let's just round that. $38. For $38, you can buy somebody not only access to audio like this every single day, but for that $38, they get a digital journal with all those personal development prompts. They get the challenges. They get the ability to plan their goals. They get to be able to track their habits with the only research-backed habit tracker for high performance in existence today. You can do that, and you can bring them into this community of strivers who are focused on self-improvement I'm telling you, it's a special gift for $38. I know you know someone who might be challenged in the sense that, maybe they're in a moment of just darkness or upset or discouragement. Maybe people around them don't cheer them on or lift them up. Maybe they've never gotten self-improvement work before or gifts before. Maybe there's somebody who just had a really bad year and could use a little notice that someone cares about them in this way, that wants to see them grow. Maybe someone on your team is underperforming and this is an opportunity for them to develop personally or professionally. But you can go there and go to growthday.com/gift, and you can buy a starter plan for just $38 a year for someone you love. I mean, think of all the things we're all going to buy each other this year. Gadgets and widgets and things and clothes and items. But man, helping somebody grow, that to me is priceless. So I hope you'll go there, growthday.com/gift. If you happen to be in the app, just open up your settings and select that navigation that says give a gift. And you can do it right there. And you don't even have to re-enter a credit card. It's already in your app. It's already stored to you, and you can just do it that way, or you can enter a new one, whatever you need to do. But I just feel like, my friend, this is the holiday spirit. The gift of giving. There's someone you might know or love who could use some encouragement, and maybe you can provide that to them in some other way. But I know with all of our coaches and our teachers and our tools and this community, this is something special to invite them in. I hope you'll do that this holiday season. growthday.com/gift. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for prioritizing your personal development and making self-improvement a way of life. Please remember, you are stronger than you think, so get to choose your own attitude. The future does hold good things for you, and I appreciate you remembering that every day is a great day to grow, and I love that we do it together.